Welcome, Lillian
Thank you.
Alexander. We are living the authentic life here at the Vintage Contessa showroom, and we showed up all in pink today.
We did. It was
even
not planned.
By accident.
Perfect for spring, perfect for Mother's Day. I'm feeling good.
Absolutely. And these great, beautiful glasses.
Thank
that
you.
you designed. And when I saw the glasses first on our photo shoot at Lagoon, Houston, I thought they were lovely and beautiful. And I'm a Prosecco champagne girl. But then when I read the story and the heart behind it, girl, then that's when I texted you this morning and I'm like, I need 4 boxes.
Yes.
And you guys, if you drink champagne or you have anyone special you want to gift something to, these are exceptional.
Thank you.
The color's exceptional.
Yes.
The sound when they clink. Let's
Yes.
clink again. Beautiful.
And I think the story of how I got here is truly authentic, and I think it resonates. And I hope that everyone that uses the glasses can just relate to the story behind any product.
Okay, so you, like so many college kids,
Yes, that's right.
worked at 19.
That's right.
And you were, I worked conventions is what they called it.
That's
so
right.
You set the
That's
tables.
wait staff. That's
you were
exactly
the wait
right.
staff. You brought the tray in.
White shirt, black bow tie.
Oh yeah, girl.
That was me.
And polyester kind of pants I had to wear
Yes.
that I did not like
That's
at
right.
all. So you do all this for these people, and I was used to being the one attending, and then you're on the other side and you're kind of like, oh wow, and then you see how people interact with you.
That's right. And I loved it. Honestly, I loved it. I actually had such a great experience at that age.
Good.
What I learned is the value of a hostess. So a lot of the events that I worked for a private chef named Margot, and
Okay.
she specialized in homes with the wealthiest women in the city of Baton Rouge. So home fundraisers, home events, and I always felt welcomed. And what I learned is that the power of a woman hostess, she's prepared, she's got glassware, she's got plating, she's got everything she needs. Staff just can come in and set it up. And 2, she's gracious, just as gracious to the people that work in her home as to the guest. She
Amen.
treats the people that work there just as great as the people that are there to donate. And because I had such great experiences and I was treated very well, I actually learned, and I knew that when I was hosting in my own home, I didn't know what it would look like. I didn't know what that husband would look like. I would do the same. I'd be prepared with plating, with flutes, with glassware, with stemware, with candles, with things for the staff to set up. And 2, I would treat the staff just as well as any attorney, any professional, any physician, any surgeon, any donor that walked into my home. And so that's really how So Home Collective, it's been a journey. That's the beginning of the journey.
I love it. And speaking of attorneys, you are also an attorney.
I am.
Is that your side hustle?
Which one is it now? Right. Which one is it
When
now?
does it evolve that your passion can become your main business? Because I feel like
great question.
so many people look at me and say, God, you have a dream job. But I spent 22 years working in the construction industry, schlepping around construction sites, which I also loved because I love design, whether it's interiors or the scope, but I love being in places and being part of the journey to make it beautiful.
Right.
And so you do that.
So
in essence,
that's how I feel.
Yes.
That's how I feel. I feel what I love about still practicing law is I'm still a people person. I'm still in the customer service business.
Yes.
So, but what I love about any entrepreneur who is going from one very stable career path, construction, real estate, law, medicine, to something that is creative.
Yes.
When you're transitioning from the both, what I love about is I can kind of pick my clients, right? So with family law, I'm able to turn down a few clients that just may not be a good fit, refer them to another great business, another woman-owned firm, keep the ones that work for my schedule, work for me being a new wife, a new mom, but then also work well with me really marketing and getting out here in the customer service business. What I love about So Home Collective is I'm going to things. I'm not just follow me on Instagram and buy. I want to meet people. I want feedback on the flutes. I want to deliver them. I want to meet people and say hi, because I just see that it's not just about the money. It's about the story, and maybe someone else will feel encouraged to do both, right? One creative passion and one passion that you've always done. So, and I think that's most, just most authentic to my journey.
And going from family law, you're in the midst of a lot of really stressful.
That's right. No celebratory.
There's maybe at the end, and we were talking about this the other day, I've transitioned to when people are getting divorces to saying congratulations instead of I'm so sorry, because I presume when you get to that point that a decision's been made, and sometimes that's a good thing.
That's right.
But when the kids are involved, it's always painful.
It's a journey for people. Some people, their congratulation comes the day they sign. Some people, it comes 2 years later. It just depends,
But let's talk about celebration. And also, I love your perspective, because from the moment I met you dancing and then at the Lagoon, we really connected over like our business mindset, us as women, as moms.
Yes.
So let's first talk about you have this incredibly creative idea to produce something, and you decide in, when was it, 2019?
Great
start
question.
An Amazon.
Yes.
Like to take it to the next level instead of just sourcing it and giving them as gifts.
That's right. After my wedding. So I got married in 2019 in our backyard. We had a seated black tie dinner at home, and we were really excited about that process. Because the wedding was tinted, a few of the costs began to escalate. And so I decided that instead of giving them as gifts, I wanted to just kind of table the idea and go back to it, because I enjoyed designing the items for the home. I was getting married at home, so I wanted to give away a home furnishing. Once we took the honeymoon, I just loved the wedding industry. I love the luxury industry.
Oh, wow.
I love the wedding industry.
Mm-hmm.
I love the beauty industry. Does that make any sense?
Yes,
right?
It does.
I think that's why you are drawn and I are drawn together. I like working with women, and I like when women can enjoy something beautiful guilt-free. Because a lot of times there's a lot of things associated with the guilt of,
and they're in a place they can buy it. They're
That's right.
not strapping themselves to impress someone else.
That's
it's
right.
about them working hard to
That's
get
it.
to a place that they can honor their work and celebrate the journey.
That's right. And that's what I sat in late 2019 and really thought about. And I liked that space, and I wanted to be a part of that space. And so I began designing and working, packaging, story, and also this is an extension of She's So Overdressed. So I wanted it to still feel connected to the baby that I had started a few years ago in terms of my personal brand.
And tell people about that.
So
we haven't even mentioned
that. Yeah, we
that.
haven't. So She's So Overdressed is my Instagram lifestyle brand, which really has just been authentic, because some months it's been really strong on travel. Some months it's been really strong on buying a new piece and unboxing. Other months it has been rehabbing my older home that I had, and it's hosting parties. But She's So Overdressed, people have really genuinely made connections with that brand, because it's really of a 25-year-old to a 35-year-old, and just benchmarks, white, black, southern, northern, regardless of who you are, just certain things that women start to really appreciate. Sometimes you just really appreciate your bachelorette pad, but then later you really want to redo your kitchen. And so She's So Overdressed is all of that. And so this is where the So came from in So Home Collective. So once I started to launch, COVID hit. And then 2 weeks after COVID lockdown, I was pregnant. So which was, I had a true COVID child being locked in the house with my husband, which was exciting. So I tabled it a little bit in terms of putting it to launch. But by the end of 2021, we were ready to go, and it went to market, and the response has been really phenomenal.
And I found during COVID, I really had time to stop and reflect.
Yes.
And more than ever, it gives me chills saying it, our home was important to us.
That's right. It was.
And
yes.
There would be days in the first 6 weeks, we actually had the luxury of staying at my family's coast house. And I brought clothes for a week and we were there. But some days I would come out dressed with makeup on. And Rob's like, where are you going? We're not leaving the house. I'm like, I just have to do it.
That's right.
Or then I would set the table or I would do something. And we all realized the value of just giving to those we love in that sort of way.
Yes.
Which I found to be so organic for what you were doing and why you were doing it.
That's right.
It wasn't to show off.
That's right.
And I think a lot of people get that perception with fashion or home, but it's to truly enjoy the beauty of the journey.
That's right.
And to take time to find gratitude in every moment.
That's it. Everything is not black tie. Every moment is not for social media. There's some moments where you get quiet into yourself and you tap into gratitude. And sometimes when you look around at the piece of just a beautiful roof, people are healthy. Yes. We have a detail that you can appreciate. Alone,
this is artwork.
You can just say thank you.
Yes.
Thank you to my journey. Thank you to the universe. Thank you to God. Thank you to my family. Thank you to my parents, whomever. You can just really thank the processes. And sometimes things and the home can just really be a visual moment of what you're thanking for. Even if it's an apartment, even if it's a mansion, whether it's a ranch house, a home is really a space where sometimes you can say, wow, thank you. Thank you. I'm good. And I think that if people did that during COVID, it was a great time. And it was a really great time for me to do that as well. Mm-hmm. And so being in the space that brings something to the home is just what I wanted to accomplish. A moment of gratitude. Yeah.
And tell us about your daughter.
Oh, I'd love to. I have a daughter named August Rose. And
most darling name ever.
And you know, one thing about her is her personality. I want to take credit for her personality, but one thing, she's loved. She's such a confident child. Mm-hmm. Right now, even though we're at high and bye and giving kisses, she's just a confident woman, and I think that that's what's important to me. One reason why I'm still working at this business, I want her to see confidence, but she's loved. And she knows no stranger, and I love that. And she's giving. She actually, for a young child, the biggest thing I can brag with right now is she likes to share.
Wow.
And so,
especially as an only.
And so we
have an only, so I get it.
Yes, and so that's just something to brag on. And I love that motherhood has just really put me on a routine. I wasn't really a very routine person. But it's also really just opened my heart to watch how I can be a good driver for her and see how her life just watch it through her eyes. So I really love motherhood, and even the work that it's work, but I really love her and just the peace that she's brought to my life.
And do you have tea parties? Is she girly?
She's girly. She is right now. You're going to love this. Right now, the most girly thing about her is she likes to grab a purse. She will even take like a cloth, anything that has a handle. She will put it on her shoulder and she wants to walk with it. That's her girly moment.
Oh my gosh.
She wants to put a handbag on that shoulder. It can be a cloth shopping bag, and she's going to put it right here and walk.
I love it. Okay, so when you came in with your wagon, I was so excited because you brought so many glasses for me.
A functional wagon. Yes. I did.
And I was joking, I need a wagon because I'm always struggling, and Danette and I only like to make one trip from the car when we're here. So we're like, and my daughter, when she was 2, she'd load up like 5 bags at the back door, and I'd say, let's go. And she'd say, okay. And I'd say, why do you need all that? And my mom said to me one time, because she sees you taking 5 bags.
I never thought about that.
But they do watch us. Yes. And what I know is when my daughter was younger, she would be embarrassed that I would show up at school and dressed for work when the other moms were wearing Lululemon.
Okay.
And she wanted me to be the same as everyone else. But now that I'm older, or she's older, she likes that I'm working, and she actually is talking about working.
Yes.
And I've said to her, make sure that when you are going through life, you don't expect someone else to take care of you.
Yes.
And I think that's a really big thing for women now, is that we can choose. I'm seeing more women getting this. Or maybe just the people I follow on social media.
Yes.
Like, you can be a girl boss and love a man.
Yes.
And still be very feminine.
And I'll say it in a way that I think a lot of people are afraid to say. You can help a man take care of you by helping and working hard, contributing, if that makes any sense. I think of it like that. You can really help him grow, and you can help in your own way, right? And still be feminine and still be passionate about something, right? And at the end of the month, how the dollars and cents roll down, that's a private issue. But in terms of the foot and the leg work, children can see you. What I love about you and Rob is that it's a working together. The podcast, the weekly, the excitement. When I love that younger people can see two people work together. And even if there's things that are separate, she sees my husband and I work together.
Yes.
Even when we talk about his work, we talk about this passion, we talk about mine, and we find ways to work together. He's going to network and push glasses.
Yes,
he designed the
so
whiskey
proud of
glasses. He designed the whiskey glasses. And that was just really his feedback to say, I know what men like. I know what men enjoy when we host them, what my golf buddies like. And I want her to see that.
Yes.
As a couple, you can help him earn. He can help you earn, because we're all earning together.
Absolutely.
And if something ever happened to you, you still have your passion. But think about it as teamwork. We're all a team. And
Absolutely.
so I love that, where you can have it all. That's how I think you can have it all and not feel as if you just have to be taken care of, or you have to do all the earning. Because either one is, no woman wants to do either one. No woman wants
to do all of it.
No woman wants to do all of it, and no woman doesn't want to feel spoiled. So there's a happy medium in feeling spoiled, but feeling really confident in how you add as well. There's a median.
Yes. And then to be separate. So for you guys, was it, and I asked this because it was really hard for us. Rob traveled 200 days a year and COVID hit.
Okay,
and it was
like, and then he was
honey,
home. It was a lot.
Where are you going? Well, you're here? And then as Bella says, like, we have our system every morning, and he was
hard.
in the system, and you're like, oh my, you want to have, no, I'm in charge at home, and you're in charge at the office, and
I didn't know what it was like to live with Edwin until COVID. I loved, so Edwin traveled 4 days a week.
Okay, yeah.
And one thing I loved about it is we were Premier 1K with United. So we had great travel. We had lots of perks. We had a great life going. And 4 days out of the week, I only had to worry about me. If I wanted to eat lunch, take home, and order when I got back, I just had to feed myself. I would keep the house however, and Thursday when he headed back, it was perfect, and I could give him the weekend. We'd go out to eat. COVID hit, and he was like, well, what am I eating for breakfast? And I was like, well, what do you usually eat for breakfast?
Yes.
What do you eat? I was like, well, I don't even eat breakfast. He said, you don't eat breakfast? I said, well, I know you've never really seen that, but I said, I don't really, we had to learn. So COVID really changed the dynamic with him not traveling for work, because he's a consultant, and so we just really enjoyed that. I did, he did, and we would meet in different places that we loved. So it's been an adjustment, to be at home together and one person hold a nail and the other person hit the hammer as teamwork.
And not hit the person
it's the finger, right? Who is the boss of what? Who is the boss? So it's just interesting.
It is, because they chose us because we're strong women, but then they also like to be the strong men that they are.
That's
so
right.
It makes for some interesting conversation.
And interesting, how do you get hot food on the table? Well, who's cooking every day? Oh, me. Okay, well,
Yes.
And then how to, learn how to delegate what things, right? I'm not great at keeping a pristine house, so I have got to keep a schedule with someone helping us. And I'm no shame in that, right?
Good.
And then also with him having to kind of understand some compromise too. Maybe you might have to eat a muffin. It's okay if I can't do eggs over easy
every morning.
7 mornings, right? Maybe I could do 4 mornings, right? But some mornings you get to grab a banana and a muffin and get with the day. And I think that is really where we're growing in our living more marriage in the same home together.
And how is it with the family? So did you grow up with a really traditional family?
I did.
Because I did. My mom did not work outside of the house. She's even there for the grandkids every single day we would ever need her. And so that gave me a little guilt because I couldn't be everything she was because I had this whole other world. So that it took me a long time to come to a balance.
Where our dynamic is interesting, and I'll be brief, is I have a very traditional family in the sense compared to his. Where his home was a lot different, with his mom being single. So there's a single mom standard versus my parents have still been married for 37 years, right? My parents are very married, and my mom is an educator, so she's off in the summers, she retired early. And as an educator, we've always gone to the schools that my mom taught at. And so with that being said, she just had a lot of time for children, a lot of time for us. And my dad, his role is the provider, right? And so that has taken some time to not so much affect me, but say that we're going into our marriage with I can't expect you to be my dad. And then, you can't expect me to be similar to kind of the way that a single mother parents. In his situation, was very different than the way that I would do things. So we've just had to come to with how are we doing things differently and how we're being the leader. I'm not going to compare you to my father, and we can't compare to your mother. Let's just let's not make each other feel guilty about how we're growing. And I found that once we let that go, it's getting a whole lot better in terms of expectation. So it was less of comparing myself to my mother and father. It was more so comparing marriages, upbringings versus upbringings.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, comparing upbringing. Sometimes when a man like him is raised with a single mother, there's expectation that she will just do it all by herself. Yes. For example, his mother has never gone out just to lunch, right? She had something she would never do. She would never just spa or do things by herself. She would never just do. That's not what I've ever seen, right? So it's not normal. That's not normal for me. So you can't expect, if I'm going to go out to lunch with friends, that's normal to me. Then vice versa. I was raised in a home where, my dad said, well, woman, you don't pay the bills. You don't know anything. You just exist and worry about the children. Well, I can't put that on him and say, well, you only worry about working and don't worry about anything else, right? So we've had to come to just really good not comparing on what we expect.
It's so good because we all, whether we know it or not, we take so much of that.
Yes.
And it's almost like that's the way it's supposed to be.
That's
because
right.
That's the only way we've ever seen it. And for me growing up Italian, I was quite a yeller, and I was quite expressive about everything, and then I'd be over it, and he'd kind of be sulking because he didn't grow up with screamers, and I'm like, what are you upset about?
Yeah,
He's like,
just
you
talking.
just yelled at me, and I'm like, oh, I did?
That's right.
It's
so just adjusting.
It's different, and so, yes, but it's so, it's really interesting. What I also love about what you're doing with your brand is you have talked about like your dinner parties, and I have shared with you that I believe I've shared with you I've been working on a TED Talk, and so I've really been thinking about what connection is to me.
Okay.
and how I connect with people.
Yes.
Because being in influencers, there's this perception that we're all about the way we look, and there's not a lot of depth and breadth. But what I loved about, what you were writing about your collection is that some of the colors in the stems were colors that you like to have represented at the table. And I mentioned this to you as I feel so blessed as when I travel to different cities and I get together with friends. I guess there's even some friends in Houston, and you're at a table, everyone looks the same.
Yes.
And at my table, because we're in the jewelry business and because we live near the medicals, like my table, everyone looks different. And there's so many nations and people, and I feel like that's part of Houston. So let's talk a little bit about that part of the journey too.
I think that, and that's where the word collective comes from. Mm-hmm. So I think that what really stands out, and everyone has experienced this, is in 2020 we felt the questions of, are we more different than we are alike in terms of what we earn, where we live, rich, poor, middle class, social issues, and black and white. Mm-hmm. And what I think is that when we get together, okay, and especially in the context of black women and white women getting together, right, and we just talk and listen, and really see that each other's journey is just very different, but the conversation of, wow, just how I explained a single, black mother's journey and how she may live is very different than another mother's journey. In that listening, there's a collection to say, wow, we're mothers. That's is different. And how we were raised and different backgrounds affect us. So when we start to talk, when we finally get to the hard issues, we've at least established that let me have some compassion in this debate, because we're still always going to debate things. We're still going to maybe not agree, but there's compassion. And you know what? I heard your story. I knew how you grew up, and I can have some compassion there. And what I do see about you is you want to know people's early story. And that's important.
Yes.
As a hostess, and that's what's important past influencing, right? When you're just talking about the end, or the issue, like, or what we have in common.
What are you wearing?
That's right.
What's happening in your life today?
It's easy to stereotype.
Yeah.
But when you really ask someone, well, was your mom like my mom? Or like how you shared, my mother was like this, or how we talked a little off camera. You shared a quick story of when you were 16.
Yes.
And when you were in a car and how it went. And I was able to quickly share, well, that happened to my little brother too, right? There's a quick moment of just, they're not the same, but they're different. And then when we get to difficult subjects at the dinner table, we can operate in just not writing each other off, right? Or
no, because you don't have to have experienced the same thing as someone else to have compassion for their journey.
That's right.
And so I had this really interesting experience with a friend of mine's girlfriend in LA, and she's Asian, and her daughter is mixed African American and Asian. And we were talking about my experience, because I used to be on the board for Crime Stoppers. I work a lot with police. I went to the A&M, so military. It was just a different perspective. Whereas her daughter and her husband, and she has been pulled over by police, she believes, for her race. And even though I didn't experience it, it changed the way I could then understand.
Yes.
Because of, and I can't understand it, and I can't act like I could do, but I can understand that what one person feels safe about, another person feels threatened about.
That's exactly right.
Because of where we came from and what our journey
talking
was.
About it. And a lot of times, just like you said, in your home, when you invite others into your home or use your platform, like even using your platform today to say, this is a Black-owned, Black woman brand that may have started with less capital than any business you work with. Let me bring that on my platform and we work together, or come into my home and meet people who may have the resources to help. That is the collective. That's the conversation. That's the genuine. That's the past February. That's past any 2020. That's just being good. And even I do the same, right? Let's say someone came from a lower economic status, or a family that was not like mine, because I have my own privilege, right? I have to use my privilege to listen to someone who might have said, I was raised in foster care, but I want to start a business and I don't even know one lawyer, right? I don't even know one, right? And so in mine, I have to use even my platform, right? 100%. And to listen to a journey that outside of being minority, there's socioeconomic ways that I can help. And so when we collect together, and a lot of times people's safe space is a home, and that's where I think influencers have the power to say, okay, look, when the camera wasn't on, let me listen. How did you start? And I think you do that. I've seen you do it. And it is truly genuine, and I feel very celebrated to be a part of each time you invite, because there's the people that you associate with, they do the same, because they take from your leadership, right? And so that's what I really appreciate about a woman leader, because you show other women, and then in return, other women, if we're going to collect and listen, let's collect and listen on a deeper level, not just the surface. That's right.
But we could start there, and then
there. Yes,
exactly. And it was like the perfect tee up to one of my favorite definitions of leadership, is taking people from a place where they are to a place they've never been before.
Yes.
And I just think that's so incredible. Also, another thing I've really researched is judgment versus discernment.
Okay, yes.
Because we look at, and when we're clear on our purpose, we've really discerned what fits for us in our lane, but we have to be open to other things. And I've learned that judgment is coming from a place of authority over someone else and telling them what they've done. And I think that's... there's a lot to learn from that. My passion project is fighting sex trafficking and going back to people growing up in a foster home. Like, I thought, well, so these women are selling their bodies and they're getting paid for it, and sometimes we rescue them and they go back to it. Like, what do they not have? I have faith. Do they not have? First of all, maybe they haven't been exposed. Faith is a gift. How could I judge their journey?
That's right.
And the other thing that I found, and I have chills even before I say it, is one woman said to me, I was doing sexual acts for my foster care families, siblings, parents, and not getting paid for it. And when I grew up, I could be paid for it.
Wow.
And it just changes your perspective.
Yes, that's right.
To stop enough to change from judgment to just listening and saying, if I was there and I didn't have money and I didn't know how to get out of it, what would I do?
That's right.
How would I respond? And you can't know.
That's right. You have to just, and that's the empathy that I mentioned. And the empathy that you expressed, and what I want to teach my child. And so having empathy a lot of times begins with listening, and begins with, even you sharing that story with me. You have to wrap your head around it and say, wow, what would I do? I've never experienced it. I couldn't relate, right?
Yes.
And just using any type of space to think. And obviously you feel gratitude, but then saying, well, how can I listen, and how can I tell someone else so they don't judge when they see, right?
Right.
Or to stop other people in a conversation and not just call someone, oh, there's just whores on Bissonnette. Let's stop the conversation and say, whoa. Let's not, and I think we all have a responsibility, regardless of where we are, to sometimes stop a conversation. And that's why we say the brown and black conversation is not just that, but it represents any moment like that, where let's say you hear someone say, yeah, those hoes are this and that, or they're running wild, and to stop them and say, wait a minute, we don't know all their story. For example, I know a story of, and just do that, right? And that really is what helps. It's also a lot of times why we send our kids to college, because they can come home and say, whoa, daddy. Now, I know somebody, I know a black man who was just playing his music loud, just like me, and that's helpful when you can kind of at a dinner table. I've even done the same thing, in working with, current issue. I'm, working with, my mother would not mind, but working with my mother on certain issues of sexuality, and say, well, mama, no. I understand that you're concerned, but that community, that's not the case with that community. That just because, someone's sexual preference, and just to stop her and say, no, mama, I'll share a story with you. And knowing people's story, then you can stop at the dinner table and say, well, let me share a story. And if you trust me and you care for me and you respect me, then you'll know listen. That you'll listen. And that's where this is really hopefully going to resonate to me more. And just that's why the color of the box, the color of my first flagship flute, and just really hoping that it opens up good conversation. And that's when people just want to collect and get together, and I think it'll make us better in terms of all the outside forces that try to make us feel better than other people or judge other people. This will really bring it home and say, no, let's listen to their story.
So I ordered the pink ones because I like to look through life through rose-colored glasses.
The pink are fun. The pink are called the tea. And the tea goes lots of different ways. I love the word the tea, because tea.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, tea.
I think of Texas and I'm an Aggie.
Tea is the fun thing. So tea actually, a lot of times, women will use, especially coming from, like, as they call it, Black Twitter, you'll go to a friend and you'll say, share the tea, which is could be gossip, it could be current things.
I love
so
it.
The tea is just like, girl, what's the tea? And so I named it the tea, but I also love the pink of just being truly feminine, truly spring, but just truly just flirty, listening, open. The tea is fun. So I have the sunset, I have the tea, and the tea is perfect for you, because when women come over and just want to chat, just talk to me, girl. And it's good for just all talk. Girl, talk to me. Tell me what's going on. And that's what I picture when people drink out of the tea. Girl, tell me what you heard. That's the, now what did you hear? That's how when you drink out of the tea, you have to say, girl, what were they saying?
What was that?
Tell me what you heard, girl, because I heard. That's what you have to do with the tea. Tell me what you heard, girl, because I heard, and that's the envision for the tea.
Oh my God,
yeah,
I love it.
They're a lot more fun than the sunset. The sunset are how to get down to racism, but with the tea are, girl, now I heard they was over there talking about, so the tea is spicy, it's fun, it's for a little bit of gossip. You have to give a little bit of gossip away, or the tea, you got to make somebody tell you a little bit of the story before you share it. That girl.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it.
Now, what were they saying at that table over there, girl?
It's so funny. Okay, so do you ever do mommy and me style with your little munchkin?
Okay, so kinda, but I'm true.
I know Bella's
I'm true millennial mom influence, where I try to keep her in neutrals. We haven't gone full on matching Old Navy looks. Like I can't go there, because I'm kind of like your daughter. I haven't gone full on Old Navy matching. However, we blend. We blend in looks. We kind of try to. We have a theme. Like we try to have.
Too. And we even bring Robin the theme, and he's better about it. He's not kicking and screaming. In fact, last weekend, it was kind of by accident. We were both in yellow, and I kind of left it for the photograph. It was pretty amazing.
Yes. So I try to feel like we're a part of a campaign, but I haven't done the matching Old Navy looks. I can't, but I will. but I can't. I'm like your daughter. I don't know about that. But we look like we're a part of a campaign together sometimes.
Okay, I love that.
We're in step and key.
I love it. So, do you have anything on your Mother's Day wish list?
I do.
Let's talk about it.
I want to be, and it's specific. So I would like, I'd like a statement designer earring. I think you have those drop down Fendi earrings or a statement Chanel piece. I'd like a statement designer logo jewelry because right now as a mom with a 1-year-old, I'm wanting to, when I drop her off, pick her up, just wanting the jewelry to kind of do its thing, right?
I love that.
So jewelry is on my Mother's Day gift list. And then I usually like to get a handbag closer to Christmas time, or I like to get a handbag around if we're going to travel. I usually like to take a handbag with me on where we're going to travel.
Do you shop when you travel?
I do. I do like. So the last place that I got a really amazing bag was in Lisbon. In Portugal.
Nice.
And it was really great. And then I actually got a small Chloe bag from Milan, and it was a perfect little satchel. I wore it in Morocco. So I do, especially like a crossbody, something small and nifty. But for Mother's Day, I am interested in a piece of jewelry. Usually jewelry, Mother's Day or anniversary, which our anniversary is in November. I like to add some piece of jewelry because I just think that women really, it's just easy to just give any outfit a quicker moment when the jewelry's there. And I wasn't passed down a big jewelry collection, so I'm slowly growing the statement pieces. And I do find that when I get good compliments on them, I really enjoy that. And then if I'm just wearing them to pick her up from school, I enjoy good jewelry. So that's my Mother's Day gift.
I love it. So that was kind of my style story growing up. My father always believed in investing in land and not spending money on clothing. So we were at the discount store, even on the sale rack.
Yeah.
But he would gift nice accessories, and then he'd travel to Italy on buying trips and bring my mom and I back a Gucci bag from the duty free. So thank God for Gucci at the duty free.
Thank God for duty free.
But I was having lunch with some girlfriends yesterday at Sippy's birthday, and one was talking about how they give their mom a gift card to a store, and she had to take her mom shopping. And her mom's figure has changed, and she's like, taking your mom shopping. We should have gone to Chico's because we could not find something. Everything was like a size 2 or 4. And she's a bigger size now, and she didn't want to go to the bigger size. And she said, we should only give her accessories now. And I was like, I know where you could go. But it is true, like for gift giving, I feel like to buy clothes is a harder thing for people. And Rob's lucky because when I like something, I tell Danette or Eugene, or I leave it in his chair with a Post-it note on it. Do you tell hubby what you want, or does he have good insight?
He actually has good insight.
Okay.
So it's a mix of the both. And I will say this. So my ring, but actually both of these bracelets, Yerman's, I will give it to him. He has some style to him. Where I do guide him in gifts are certain like practical things, right? Let's say I need like a china cabinet or something like a piece of furniture. I'll coax him and just tell him. So we kind of split the holidays up. Some holidays, this is what it is. So on holidays where you have a lot to think about, I get straight to the point. Because like Christmas, you have a lot to think about.
We're not going to mince words.
I'm just going to kind of leave you a hint and get to the point. But I do find that for like my birthday or our anniversary, I don't guide him and I let him steer the ship, and I really enjoy what he picks. So Valentine's Day, or especially our anniversary, I find that it goes well. Same thing with his birthday. Now for Christmas, we're trying to do for too many people. So let's don't worry about me. You ain't got to worry about me. Let's get all these other people, and then we can you don't have to read my mind, because there's a lot of people to think about. And same thing with him. I have a lot of gifts to wrap, honey. So
just tell me what you want.
Just tell give me a hint. Give me in the direction, And this year, he wanted an Oculus. Great. I kind of could pay attention. So I think that we're pretty flexible. Gifts is actually less my love language than some of my friends. I have a best friend who her love language is gifts, and it's just really great that she knows and she's a gifts language. I am truly a words of affirmation girl. Aww. Truly, to the point, and probably physical touch, but because the gifts is less of my love language, I see where people, as a divorce attorney, where a part of the gift isn't the gift. It's they want the search, the journey, the paying attention, the effort. Did you watch me? Did you were you paying attention? Were you listening? And a lot of times people's gifts is their love language. They're great gift buyers, and they watch, they listen, they know 6 months, they register. I heard you said. And so I respect people who their gift love language involves all of that. It's not just the gift. But for me, it's not. So it doesn't really,
yeah. And I think it's important
to know that.
And to share it with their partner.
You have to know.
So they don't, Rob and I call them deposits and withdrawals. Is because sometimes he's like, oh, I'm going to do this for you. I'm like, oh, honey, that's a withdrawal. That's not a deposit. That's for you, baby. That's not for me. I don't enjoy that. He's like, oh, I thought I was getting credit. I'm like, nope, no credit.
So we have to know, we have to communicate it. So there's other things that women are very shocked by, like, look, I don't need all that.
Yes.
That I for sure need. If I am, at the end of the week, I really enjoy when Ed will literally sit down, look me in my eyes and say, I really see that you really went out of your way to make sure that the baby was bathed every day, that we ate.
Gosh.
I need that, right? So some women are like, I don't need you to say it. I was going to do it anyway, right? I do need, almost different than a gift, someone to say, I really am just really proud of you.
I love that.
I see what you're doing with these parts. And so that I've had to get to the point of explaining what I need. And then the gifts,
But I think sometimes, like I will tell Rob, we'll sit down to have, and thankfully we're at a place in life where if we have a hard day, we'll sit down and we'll have a drink together. We always use nice glasses. And that's when we can kind of share our moment and take a moment. So I feel like, again, going from gift, but these are incredible gifts. These are incredible ways to connect for a moment.
Yes.
They're a way to celebrate milestones.
That's it. And
anniversary.
I love that.
I love wedding.
Housewarming.
Yes, housewarming. I'm keeping them as gifts for special friends at my desk. And so a lot of friends have gift drawers. They're definitely a luxury gift drawer.
Yes, because you're right. Sometimes what I have loved is that locally people have said, look, I need to head to a birthday party really quickly. I want to show up with something. It's really great to kind of have, 2 or 3 things you can grab and give on the go. And I have liked that, especially. And
you could even maybe divide it up and just give 2.
You can put them in a basket. So for Administrative Professional Day, which was 2 days ago, or Teachers Week, or Nurses Week, you can take them out and literally make your own basket with just a split of Moet or a split of
exactly, and that's
Prosecco.
Such a thoughtful, meaningful, lovely gift.
And people have loved it. And so going from a space where it wasn't much celebratory, I am really loving being a part of the gift-giving moments. So Mother's Day. Mother's Day is here. I'm doing Mom's 15. And I'm really excited about Mother's Day. And it's not just the flutes, the whiskey glasses sometimes.
And graduation. That's a good college graduation.
Graduation, yes. Yeah. And so
high school might be a little early.
High school may be early. But I do have the candles, and I have them in fun colors. And they're $29.99.
Oh, perfect. What's your website?
www.sohomecollective.com.
Love it.
And the candles are $29.95, and they're really fun, kind of an Etsy vibe, Pinterest vibe, and spring colors. So just having some little price for everyone.
Yes, I love it. Well, thank you for connecting with us today and sharing so much of your authentic journey.
Thank you.
You are truly living it.
This has been great. Thank you so much.
Hugs and love, girl. Okay, cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Do you need to pick me up? Drink your water out of champagne glasses. It's a great idea.
It is.